on the chat, so we should get going, right?
Yeah, we should probably get going. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're actually 2 minutes in. So, hello, everybody. I'm Jim Matthews with Robin and Pauline. We're going to share this presentation with you. It's jam-packed. They asked you to leave just at least a name so that we know who's here on the Jamboard, maybe a name and your affiliation, your school. There's a link to our slides, and you can certainly put anything you want in the chat. We're going to go pretty fast here because we have a lot to share with you and we want to leave some time for questions. We will share this, though. We were doing this a presentation like this last year, and our colleague down at Middletown, Norville Connell, had some of his folks put together a very graphical thing like this with our bit emoji things, and you can try to guess which one of us is which one. Norville's holding the books, I'll tell you that. Okay, so we have a short outline. I think that the why computer science in high school, we may be preaching to the choir, but we'll hopefully, maybe you'll know what we're doing there, and we'll do it quickly and move through our CS for All growth. The courses that we support 4 different high school courses. 3 of them are dual enrollment, so the students can earn college credit. We'll describe some of the school districts that we work with. We were working with 36 different school districts right now. We'll describe a few of them. Maybe you'll say, oh, we're like one of those. We can do something like them. And then we have a lot going on here at Siena to support professional learning and to keep the computer science teachers that we're working with connected. And the last thing is to share a full list of the high schools that we're working with. Okay, so you know that there is a STEM problem in terms of computer science. There's just not enough computer science students graduating from college. Oh, did I miss a slide? I did. I missed a slide. I went ahead. Oh, mine are on half a page. That's why. Sorry about that. Why CS in the high school? So what percentage of students take a high school math class? Since I want to go fast, I'm not going to give you any time to think about that. You already know it's not a trick question. It's 100%. And what percent of students take a high school science class before they graduate? That's 100%. But you might not know this. What percentage of students take a high school computer science course before they graduate? And it turns out that nationally, that number is less than 6%. And in New York State, it's less than 4%. And if you look at females, it's even more woeful than that. So we have a ton of work to do here. I always like to say, especially when I meet with administrators, that we have to get our high school curriculum into the 1990s. We are way behind. This should have been happening 40 years ago. One of the reasons that we should be doing this is in STEM, when you have students that are interested in a STEM field after high school, we still don't have enough students going into computer science. 67% of all new STEM jobs are in computing, but only 11% of STEM bachelor's degrees are in computer science. And not only that, but the next slide, nope, might be one after that, but the number of new jobs in computing, like I've been at Siena for over 40 years. The U.S. Department of Labor is always projecting that there are way more openings dealing with computer science than there are people to fill them. And on the next slide, it's going to show that even if your students are saying, oh, I'll major in biology, or I'll major in physics, or I'll major in astrophysics, or I'll major in chemistry or finance, 67% of computing jobs are outside of the tech sector. So there's lots of other jobs in STEM and outside of STEM that heavily involve computing. But I think that most of you probably know that. We come to the challenges. We don't have enough computer science teachers. Just some napkin arithmetic that we did a year or two ago shows that New York State needs about 2,000 full-time computer science teachers in order to offer high school students 1 year of computer science before they graduate. And we are not producing new certified teachers. There's only 12 college university programs in the state that are certifying computer science teachers right now, and or are able to certify them. We're not certifying very many. It's just a handful that are coming out each year. And so one of the partial solution to this is to take already certified teachers and bring them up to speed so that they can teach computer science. And the state, fortunately, is saying you could already certified teacher can become certified with 12 credits of computer science. So that's a major challenge is we need to get the teachers. We need to have courses to offer. In this presentation, you're going to hear about the 4 computer science courses that we support at Siena with the teachers that are in our with our partner schools. We need leadership commitment. Like if you're a computer science teacher, one teacher in your school, you should not feel the full responsibility of this. You need to have administrators and guidance counselors on board to get students to take these courses. We could do a whole session with you, and it would be better if it was an open workshop where we could hear from everybody about what their schools have done to prepare for meeting the new New York State Learning Standards. It's this year's 8th graders who should be meeting the high school standards before they graduate in 4 years. Those standards, the timeline, state ed is holding firm to their timeline. I think they spoke about that yesterday at this conference, and we've been at other places where state ed reps have told us, yep, we're not changing that timeline. So that means this, like I said, this year's 8th graders need to meet their learning standards in high school. So I went quickly. Pauline or Robin, can you need to add anything on that before Robin takes over on the growth of our program at Siena?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been working with in-service teachers for quite a while, over 10 years, and this shows some of the growth in our program. The numbers start in 2017. We were only working with 2 high schools back then, and they were both offering our Intro to CS college level course. And we continued offering that course in the next year. And we started thinking to ourselves, you know, why should a high school student's first computer science course be at the college level? You know, the first math course isn't at the college level. The first biology course isn't at the college level. And so what we did was Pauline, when I say we, I mean Pauline, Pauline, who has a lot of experience high school teaching, developed a 1-year curriculum, high school level curriculum, which we call Discovering Computer Science. And that was part of a NSF grant that we got in 2019. And so you can see the blue bar in 2019 is the number of school districts offering the high school level course, and the red bar is the numbers of schools offering the college level course. And you can see that each year afterwards, we've been growing at a nice rate through today, where we're working with 27 schools are offering the high school level discovering course, and 26 are offering the college level intro course.
There's some overlap there. So there's a total of 36 different schools. And our CS110 is similar. That's our course is Introduction to Computer Science with Python and Multimedia Programming. And it's similar in spirit to the Computer Science Principles course.
And Discovering has become a great feeder course for our college level courses. And this is a similar chart of growth in terms of the number of CS students enrolled in the Siena supported courses. With last year, we had approximately 721 students across New York taking a course supported by Siena. Okay, so I'm going to give a high-level overview of the type of the different components of the support that we provide, and then we'll delve into some of the details in the later slides. So as I said, we've been working with in-service teachers for over 10 years, and we've been supported by 3 National Science Foundation grants. And what we want to do is leverage strong and sustain college-high school partnerships. And there's a lot of great reasons for doing this because it's a win-win for both the college and the high schools. And we offer extensive professional development, both in the summer and during the school year, and full curriculum support for 4 different CS courses that you could teach at your high school. There's the high school level Discovering CS course that we just mentioned. There's the Intro to CS college level dual enrollment course. And then we have two more, a Java programming course similar to the AP CSA course, and then a web design course, which we just in the last couple of years added. We also provide tuition support for in-service teachers who are at schools partnering with us, and they can take courses, CS courses, for free at Siena. And that can help get them towards the 12 credits that you need for an additional certification. And we offer those courses with a remote option, so you don't have to be here in person. And they're in the late afternoon so that it works with the school schedule. And this year I've got approximately 14 teachers enrolled in my, one of the courses is the dual enrollment course. They can take the dual enrollment course for credit at Siena. So in my course this semester, about 14 teachers are in there. Oh, and the last component, which we will talk about a little bit more later, is one of my favorites, is we really have a vibrant professional learning community that's developed around the different components of support that we provide. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Pauline, to talk about the Discovering course.
Yes, so the Discovering course started 5 years ago. We started with just 6 teachers, and now we have 36 Discovering CS teachers this year. It's really, really super exciting. And early in our presentation, I got the credit for writing the course, and I appreciate that. I did write the initial course, but I do want to let everybody know that several of our teachers, including Elizabeth Pagarella, who's in the chat right now, from Chatham High School, have contributed to this curriculum and helped make it a really vibrant and wonderful curriculum for our students. And also a colleague here at Siena College, Dr. Jessie Moya in our education department, has been working with us as well to help make the curriculum more responsive to students of all different backgrounds and to help those students feel welcome and successful in the course. So it's not just me, it's everybody. But what is the Discovering CS course? So it's a high school level course. It's for grades 9 through 12. There's no experience required. And when I say no experience required, I mean not for the students and not for the teachers. The teachers can come to our professional development that we'll talk about a little bit later, and they can learn the material right alongside their students as the year progresses and be very successful. So the course is offered as a computer science course, of course, but it also is offered in some of our districts that are working with us as a third-year math or science credit class. And we have a couple districts, Middletown and Berlin, I believe, are both offering this Discovering Computer Science course, a modified version of it, for 8th grade students who are in their honors math programs. So the course really is centered on a few things. It's centered on, again, building that sense of belonging and fostering that idea that students can see themselves in people who are doing computer science right now, and they can find a connection and a relation there. We really invite students to be creative in this course and to express themselves and to be collaborative with each other in the classroom. So we provide all the course materials. We provide teachers' guides. We provide year-long professional development, and we provide a vibrant PLC, a community that meets at least twice monthly to talk about what's going on in the classroom and how are you being successful and what are the challenges and how can we get over that here. So the course is lab and project based. We have four areas. So we have block-based programming, we have a unit in Python, and then we have a web development unit. And those are centered around programming, obviously, but they're also centered around learning the same concepts in several different ways, right? So students get an opportunity to experience programming and practice really those fundamental skills that'll help them be successful. Our fourth unit is a unit that's kind of spread out through the whole curriculum. And that unit is really centered around digital citizenship and understanding what's happening in computer science right now and what's my role in computer science, and how does it affect me, and what are my responsibilities in using technology successfully. And so in that, we have two projects that are a week long about each. They were both co-authored by me and another teacher in this group. One is around diversity in computing, again, helping students see themselves in the computing and technology field. And the other one is about privacy regulations and laws that are affecting us around technology, and how we can, as citizens of this country, how we're affected by them and how we can affect them. Okay, also the course is a one-year course, and we all know that, I think we said earlier, this year's 8th graders need to meet all the standards by the time they graduate. This course in 1 year does meet all of the 912 standards. So students can take this course in 1 year, check that box, and your district will be good. Next slide here. So we do have a set of core values in the course. I'm not going to go through all of them, but we are very much in tune with being culturally responsive, to having an inquiry-based learning environment in our classrooms, and to developing a growth mindset in our students. So Maureen Conway, who's been teaching with us for a long time, and she's one of the founding teachers of Discovering CS, teaches at Mohonasen High School, and she's always a great champion for telling about how she has students in Discovering Computer Science who are taking it as a third-year math credit, who really start the course when they feel like they really just don't want to be there. Computing's not for them. And as they get these little successes and they go through these little activities that we have here and build, those students are really producing great work. And many of them are actually going on to the college level course, and they never thought that they would even be in a computer science class. So it's really amazing. And then next slide. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of the sample work. I believe that these slides will be shared with you. So if you could click on the links here, you can open some of the actual student projects. So you can see just from the page that the work that the students are doing is very colorful and interactive in our block-based programming unit here, and invites student expression here. In the top right, the culturally expressive reflection work, that work was done by a student at Middletown who is an art student. She really resonates with art, and she wasn't really sure about being in the computer science classroom. But she wrote this, she made this beautiful program, and if you play it, it's an animation. And she wrote in her reflection how she is really connecting through computer science through her art, and how she was really appreciative of the opportunity to do that. And then we also do sound and animation. So the ones on the bottom right are from Chatham High School, from Elizabeth, who's on the, Elizabeth students who's on the chat here, and they're really cute. So if you get a chance to look at them, you should definitely do that. So that's our kind of our block-based programming. Our Python unit we put in the middle of the semester. Python is starts out with a short introduction of block-based to Python programming. So they do things like the animation, the dancing star that you see up there, as a gentle introduction or transition from block-based programming into text. And then when they get into text-based programming, they do more challenging things. So there's a lot of problem solving in this part of the course. And there's also practical applications. So for example, students write a program to calculate loan amounts and to compare which one would be better. And then they write in their reflective piece a recommendation for a client, comparing different cars and different loans that those people can take out. So we're also giving some life advice in here. Next slide. And then we have the web programming unit here. This is the unit, it comes at the end of the year. Students, we seem to get the best feedback from this part because this unit really brings together everything that the students have learned, and also they can show off. So when you look in here in the bottom left, we do some practical things like how do we use text boxes and radio buttons and things like that to do a calculator. On the bottom right, you see we teach them how to make a little icon and how to replicate that icon to make wallpaper. And then the top two projects are from Goshen High School. And students at the end, they have a culminating project where they make a website with multiple pages, and they get to put some things about themselves into the project, or some things that inspire them, and show off what they have learned here. So the block-based unit and the web unit both end in a culminating project like this. And in the Python unit, we do some practice for programming contests students can come to at our college. Yep. Okay, next slide.
Okay, so I'll pick up from here and talk a little bit about our Intro to CS with Python and Multimedia dual enrollment course. So this course we've been offering at Siena since the fall of 2009, and currently it's being offered at 26 high schools. The materials are all organized on a curriculum map, which provides pacing, a pacing guide, and links to all the course materials that you can use as is or adapt for your setting. This includes 11 labs, a sequence of 11 labs. Each one takes about a week to do at the high school. 5 programming projects. We provide quarterly exams for the schools. Let's see, the course covers both concepts and programming, so it's similar in spirit to the APCS Principles course. And the cost to the students, if they decide to do it for college credit, they could just do it for high school credit, but if they want to do it also for the college credit, it's $200 for the 3 credits, which is a pretty good deal. And in addition, the fee is waived for students that qualify for free or reduced lunch. And we like this because it's very in line with Siena's Catholic Franciscan mission. So as I said, the course covers both concepts and programming, about half and half. And the programming is interleaved throughout the entire course. Some of the conceptual topics are listed on the left here. We cover history, societal impact, history of computer science, that is. We look at data representation, numbers, text, images, sounds, and then we do some Boolean logic and circuit building. We look at hardware. We do a little bit with assembly and machine languages, and then getting up to some higher level topics, we cover operating systems, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. On the Python side, the programming component is based on the JES, Python Environment for Students multimedia library. This is from a book by some very well-known computer science educators, and it has the students programming using a library with images, sounds, and animations. So their projects, just like discovering, are very visual and they can express themselves creatively. So I'm going to show a couple of examples of some student work. This is the first project they do. It's the image sequence project, and they write Python code that manipulates images. They do negative images, they do grayscale images, they remove red from the pixels or green or blue, and do a lot of different types of manipulations. This is the second project that the students do. It's our image collage program. And you can see that students pick a picture that they like and use it in this project. And they do reflections and other manipulations of the image to create a collage. And then this is the, I'll go ahead and start these videos. This is the animation part. So students are writing Python code to generate each image in the animation to tell a story of some type. And so they get very creative on this. Let's see if I can get past. Okay. So in addition to that course, we also have 2 other dual enrollment courses that you could offer at your high school. One is Intro to Software Development, which we said earlier is basically it is programming in Java, similar to the AP CSA course. And then the next course doesn't have an AP equivalent. It's a web design course at Siena. This is taken by all types of students, both some CS majors. I would say mostly, though, the population in that class is from across campus. So it's a real good course for just anyone who's interested in web design. So for teacher support, as I said, we provide extended professional development in the summer and the school year, and that includes equity teaching strategies and practices. We have full curriculum materials for all these courses, and we call ourselves a hotline for support because our teachers tell us we're very fast at getting back to their questions. And then, as I mentioned, we have the tuition waivers for in-service teachers that are partnering with us so that they can take CS courses for credit as they work towards an additional teaching certificate in CS. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Jim to just give some background on some of the schools we've worked with.
Yes. So as you heard, we are currently partnered with 36 schools that are offering a CS course this year. We have some others who are in the process of joining us. So next year we expect to have well over 40 schools that we're working with. They are in different parts of the state. Some are as far west of Siena, which is near Albany. Some are as far west, I think, as Lake Ontario out by Rochester. Some are on Long Island. The vast majority of them are here in the Capital District. Quite a few of them are suburban schools. Many are upstate school districts, rural school districts. And then there's a variety of small city, large town types of districts. We're working with almost every type of district. We'll just give you a little bit of information about a few of them. How are we doing on time here, by the way? Looks like we're pretty good, right?
We're good,
so,
yeah.
So Middletown was one of our early partners. We have one of our Siena graduates who is a certified math teacher, but she had also done a strong minor at computer science teaching there. And you can see some of their students. Middletown, next slide, please, graduates. I think it's about 600 students a year. Yeah, 25, they have over 2,500 high school students, so that would come out to like 650 students per grade. All of the students at Middletown receive free lunch. They're a Title I school. I think well over 70% of the households in that district qualify for free or reduced lunch, and then there would be a very high percentage that come close to qualifying for that. So it's a very high needs district. They're in Orange County. You can see the demographic breakdown for the school: 62% Hispanic, 22% Black, 10% white, 2% Asian, and there's some, 4%, 2 or more races. Their story is pretty remarkable. Not only do they have a very committed teacher to computer science, but there is an administrator there who we have worked with for quite a while and have done presentations with, Norval Connell. And we stole these slides. You may, if you were with us yesterday, Norval shared some of this data with you. In 2019, 2020, next slide, please. This was the first year that they partnered with us. They offered our Discovering Computer Science course that year. Is that right, Pauline or Robin? Yes, it was Discovering Computer Science. Jess Guthrie taught this course, and I think she may have had 2 sections to get to 29 students. And that was really the start of them taking off in computer science. It was very popular. They did a lot of work, Jess and Norval, talking to parents to really convince people that their students should be taking computer science. It was not required. Their guidance departments were not in this pattern of necessarily recommending students to take computer science. It was a fairly new offering for their school. So Norval and Jess did a tremendous amount of work. And if you look at the next slide, you'll see that the second year, they more than doubled their participation to almost 70 students. And then they also started offering a second course, our dual enrollment Intro to Computer Science with Python and multimedia programming that Robin just described. So now they're offering, I call it Pauline's Discovering Computer Science course and our department's Intro to CS course. and their number of students, the number of sections went up, of course, and the number of students went to 117, which there it is. And then they really went all out, and they had more teachers partner with us, especially from their middle school. And they took, I think, their middle school technology program and revamped that so that they were getting students in computer science classes. And so the next year they went from 117 students taking computer science to 933 students taking computer science that year. Now, granted, a lot of those students were in the middle school, but it's just phenomenal growth. And that is the result of one really determined teacher, but more than that, really, you need an administrator who's going to push it. It's interesting because this was happening before a lot of schools were even thinking about the New York State Learning Standards and CS for All, and making sure that all of their high school graduates were going to meet the computer science learning standards. That's just a fantastic story. So you may be in a school that you can relate to Middletown. Our next example of a school that we've been working with for a few years is Schoharie, which is in Schoharie County. It's south and west of Albany. It's a rural district. They have about 75 students per grade in their high school. So their high school, I think their high school population is maybe a little under 300, but it varies from year to year. Next slide, you'll see their demographic information. So when Middletown was 10% white, you can see this kind of flips it in this rural district, 91% white, 10% students of color. Might not, oh, that adds up to more than 100%, but some of the, I think that's because their data is some students identify in more than one of those categories. So that's a very rural school district. They did not have a computer science teacher, but Jen McClure teaches in, she's a business certified teacher. She's in a department called Practical Arts, and she teamed with us. She came to the summer PD for discovering computer science, and then that PD continues during the school year. Pauline usually meets with the teachers about twice a month throughout the school year. So Jen started teaching discovering with partnering with Pauline's group. There were other teachers in the group. And then the next year, her second year, she added the dual enrollment Intro to CS course with Python. And then this year, she's added our Java programming class. So this small little school district is now offering 3 computer science courses. Just 3 years ago, they were offering no computer science courses. And one of the things for them new this year, and I think that maybe Jen saw this with what Middletown and a couple of other districts are doing, is they've moved teaching some CS down into the middle school, which, you know, for the state learning standards, there are standards for K to 4 or 5, there are standards for 5 to 8 for middle school level, and there are standards for high school. So Jen's been a real leader in that school district on getting the whole district on board to meet the learning standards. Another district that we work with, these are just examples. Goshen is not far from Middletown, actually. It's down in Orange County. It's not quite as large as Middletown, but I think they have about 250 students per grade in the district, which means that their high school will be 4 times that. So their high school has about 1,000 students in it. It's described sometimes as somewhat of a rural town, but it has, I think, more of maybe a suburban feel to it. And again, about 4 years ago, they had no computer science going. They heard about our program. We were speaking at a conference down in the lower Hudson Valley, and they sent a new technology teacher that they had just hired up to work with us during our summer PD week in August. And Dylan started teaching discovering computer science, followed by our intro dual enrollment course. And he's got a lot going on there. You can see the demographics on his on that district. And in the next slide, you'll see a little bit of their history. He was teaching those courses. They're replacing, I could tell you a whole story, but I'll skip that on how they started their introductory course with discovering. They had actually, well, maybe I'll tell you a little of that story. They had paid the registration fees for Dylan to attend some other programs. And then they also had him come up to Siena for our week in August. And here he was, he hadn't even taught one day in the district. And they were kind of expecting him to teach one of these other, I'll just call it a canned program. And he just said, no, this discovering course just seems a whole lot better. And he said, I'm going to teach that. And he said, what are they going to do? Fire me? They just hired me. So there's quite a bit of moxie from a teacher who certainly didn't have tenure, didn't even have a day of experience before he made that decision. We would always get a kick out of that with Dylan. He's really outstanding. Their plan going forward from this year is right now they're offering 2 sections of discovering, one of Python and one of our Java course. They're increasing the number of students. They've been recognized. This is their technology program. They've been recognized as a program of excellence. And Dylan is working to continue growing that program and trying to help the district figure out how do we get all of our students to meet the state learning standards. So you may be at a district that you can relate to Goshen. Oh, and he has a slide that he gave us on their high school enrollment. And you can see they have a long way to go because they have about 250 students per grade. And their problem is staffing. They don't have enough teachers to teach the CS. Right now, they're getting about 75 to 80 students in computer science courses a year. And if you're going to meet the high school learning standards, at least we think that your students need to take a full year course. And that's not just our opinion. We've talked to our friends and colleagues in New York City who are even further ahead of us on this. And they say that even their strongest, most experienced teachers have a hard time getting their students to meet those standards with a full year course. And so we know that districts are coming up with some different ideas for how to teach it, but basically students in high school will need a full year of instruction to meet the New York State learning standards in computer science and digital fluency. So that means like a district, if we can just go back there for a second, Robin, on that 75. Yep. That means to do that, a district, like if you have 250 kids graduating each year, you need to have 250 kids taking a computer science course each year to be in a steady state. And just think, if you have 250 students, if you put 20 students in a computer science classroom, you would need about 12 or 13 sections. So you would need about 2.5 full-time teachers just to meet those learning standards. And that's going to be a problem. That was one of the challenges that we described at the beginning of this session, is where a school is going to get it. If you have 100 students in a district, basically that would be not 100 students in a district, 100 students per grade in a district. Then you need to offer 5 sections per year, 20 students in a section. So that's one teacher. You need basically one computer science teacher for every 100 students to meet the New York State Learning Standards. And then that doesn't include offering additional courses in computing, like our dual enrollment courses or some other electives that you might be interested in students taking. We'll be happy to talk about that and take questions on it. I think we're okay on time, so I can go. Yeah, this is the slide where Dylan's saying, yep, we need more teachers. They're actually cutting sections due to the staffing crunch that they have. They're hoping to add our web design course, which is another course that dual enrollment course that we offer at Siena. That course has no prerequisite at the college. It's like our intro to computer science with Python. There are no prerequisites for either of those courses. And that's a really great way to get students writing some code and really getting interested in computing. Hopefully Dylan will be able to help his district pull that off. We have one other example for you we picked 4 out of our 36. Some of you may be familiar with Saratoga Springs. They're about a half-hour's drive north of the college in Saratoga County. There's a picture of their high school. And this may be a familiar story to some of you. They had a high school physics teacher who was teaching computer science. And I'll go back to him in a second since the slide is up. They have about 450 to 500 students per grade. You can see their demographic breakdown. Fortunately, only 15 or 16% of students on free and reduced lunch. So they're a wealthier district. But they really are far behind, even though they have more resources sometimes than other districts. They've been pretty far behind on computer science. This story may be familiar to some of you. They had a physics teacher there who was teaching a couple of AP and that should be non-AP CS courses for decades. He recently retired. We actually have him teaching some classes now at Siena. That was Chris Shanks, physics teacher. And when he retired, they contacted us and said, okay, what are we going to do? And interestingly enough, we had a physics graduate who had a little bit of computer science background that they hired. And they hired her, Lexi, specifically to teach computer science in the beginning. She was hoping that she'd get a chance to teach physics also, but they hired her for computer science. And she came to our summer PD and she was teaching a couple of our courses, DCS, that's Discovering for short, DCS, and our intro class last year with a Java type of course. And in some ways, sadly, good for her, but she decided she applied and got into a medical physics, I think it's medical physics graduate program at Brown University. She was sorry to leave teaching right now, but she said, I have to try it. So Saratoga replaced Chris with Lexi. She was there for a year. And fortunately, they found another one of our graduates who had been working as an actuary. She had double majors in computer science and actuarial science. She got certified to teach computer science through the Clarkson program. And they hired her, and she's just started this year at Saratoga. She's offering our CS for All and our college level courses.
And she's doing some team teaching with some of their,
that's right.
At least one of their math teachers who went to our PD this summer.
Right. Yeah, because they actually didn't know that they were going to get Audrey, and they had some other math teachers that they were recruiting, and they're going to need that because the size of their district, if they have 450 students per grade, they know, and they're working at this. They know we want to have every student take a CS course before they graduate. So they're going to have to offer about 22 to 24 sections of computer science a year. So they know that just to meet that goal, they're going to need about 4 to 5 full-time computer science teachers. Plus, they do want to offer college level courses. They seem to be committed to doing the university and the high school model with us, but they have in the past offered AP Java. So those are some examples of some of the districts that we've worked with. We have a wide variety, as you can see. We're very dedicated. I mean, me personally, I've been at Siena over 40 years. I did a lot with mathematics education in the state of New York, especially and nationally. I started in a small rural district, but I also did for decades worked with our high needs districts in our region, especially Albany, Troy, and Schenectady high schools. So I'm committed to that, and I know Pauline and Robin are. We work with high needs schools. We work with suburban schools. We're, for me, and actually Pauline lives out in the boonies too. We are very committed to helping these small rural schools across the state of New York.
Okay. So we're going to come back to a couple of components of our program, and one of the ones that I think we really cherish is the professional learning community. And so this is a very engaged community. It's sustained over a long period of time. And the teachers are working on shared CS curriculum, so they have that in common. They meet at professional development meetings. In the summer, we bring the experienced teachers back to share their wisdom with the new teachers. And so the new and the older teachers, experienced teachers, get to meet each other. They're taking CS courses together at Siena. Most of them are in the CSTA Capital District chapter. So that chapter meets on campus at Siena, and the department provides meals for anybody who comes in person. And then they also meet once a year at our annual high school programming contest. Siena has a pretty large program. I think there were 350 students at it last spring, and it continues to grow. And so they see each other there as well. And last year, we started college visits for the CS students at partnering schools. The students come to campus with their teachers, and they get to engage with a group of computer science majors that are on a panel, and they take a tour of the campus, and they get to have lunch in the cafeteria, and then they're back on the buses to go home. And that was very successful last year, and so we're going to do it again this year. This is a list of the 36 schools that are teaching our supported courses this year. And like Jim said with his examples, they cover a wide variety of school types: big, large, rural, high needs, suburban. It's all there. If you're interested in partnering with us, we encourage you to do that. We welcome all high schools. The qualities that we find best, that have worked well for us in terms of the teachers that have been successful, which has been every teacher we've worked with. There's been one teacher who out of 40 that hasn't been able to get to the point where she felt comfortable teaching the computer science. But everyone else has been successful. And we're always amazed at this, because these teachers, their background is not computer science. Their backgrounds were other things. And but the qualities that teachers have are enthusiasm. They enjoy problem solving. They love to learn. They're willing to take some risk and learn along with the students, because you're not going to know it all, especially the first couple of years. And do they have CS knowledge? Some do, but most don't. And it's not required. We can supply we can help you with the CS knowledge and CS pedagogy. But what we can't do is teach you how to teach. So if you're a teacher, an experienced teacher, and you can manage a classroom of students successfully, we can handle the computer science knowledge. If you're interested in joining us, just send us an email, or put a sticky note with your email on the Jamboard, and we'll get back to you.
You know, we usually find it worthwhile to set up a meeting after this on Zoom, and you can invite other teachers or administrators in to talk about all of this and ask questions.
Yeah. And I guess that is our last slide.
Yep.
And so yeah, we'll take questions. We have a few minutes.
Yeah, so you can feel free to turn on your microphone. Can they turn on their microphone and talk to us? I'm not sure.
Not
but
sure.
You can check, yeah.
If they want to come to the stage, they can.
Check it in the chat.
Or put it in the chat. If we missed your question in the chat during the talk, I think Pauline was pretty good and Jim was good about getting back to them in the chat. But if we missed it, just put it in again.
Robin, I may have missed this. As part of our PD, you must have talked about teachers taking the courses here.
Yes.
And did you mention that, because there's some stuff in the chat about the PD in the summer is in person, but during the school year, the teachers take your course. Did you mention that most of the teachers do that online?
They do, yeah. So we offer the courses with a remote option for teachers. So we're teaching traditional students in the classroom, and they have to be there in person. So this is not actually an online class, except for the teachers, which are online on Zoom. Yeah, and they're taught after school hours. They generally start between 3:40 and 4:15, somewhere in there, the classes start. And for the teachers that are taking the intro to CS with me this semester, that's one of the courses we offer for dual enrollment. they meet with me once a week for a special teachers lab. We meet online and we can talk and chat, and they work through the lab materials in pairs. We do it in breakout rooms on Zoom. And so it's a chance for us to interact a little bit more, because during the class period, there's not as much interacting with the online teachers, but the once a week lab meeting is very helpful in touching base and for the teachers to get to talk about what's going on, because most of them are teaching this course for the first time while they're taking it with me. So the best way to prepare for teaching this is to come to the summer PD. It's like 4 days. That gets you a head start on the material, and then take the class here at Siena while you're teaching it, and you're prepping while you're taking the course and earning the credits.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The question that just came in from Jackie is, do we offer this course in the spring or another semester?
We don't generally. If we can get a teacher, the problem is getting faculty to teach in the late afternoons. We've generally been offering it in the fall, in the afternoons, with remote option for teachers. But in the spring, we offer a different course. It's the Intro to Programming with Java. Pauline's been teaching that with a remote option for teachers. And then this fall, we're also offering the web design course for teachers. And next spring, we hope to be able to offer a new course, which is on exploring data, cybersecurity, and networking, which will be really helpful for meeting those concept areas that you have to satisfy to get your second certificate or additional certificate in computer science.
Again, thanks, Jackie, for these questions. Do you offer the course in the spring, you asked? And I think this spring we may have a late afternoon section of the intro with Python.
I did not know that.
I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if Robin's not teaching it, so we have to make sure the other faculty member doesn't mind a teacher zooming in. Our department is very supportive, so I think that's possible. But Jackie and everyone, what we have found really successful, since you're probably not going to offer the course until next year, if you start the class in September in, say, Robin's section, she has to teach the course in about 13 and a half to 14 weeks, and you have almost 40 weeks. And so the college version of it goes much, much faster. And so you get ahead. So it's actually a great way to prep your own course, is to be taking it at the same time. Eventually you'll get to the point where you've seen the whole course and you still have more than a half a year to go in your school year. So taking it in the spring might not be much of an advantage, but it might be a possibility. We can talk about that more.
And I can also say for the Java course that is offered in the spring, we have our curriculum map that supports our teachers. And you can get a lot of resources there, but I also offer all of my curriculum that you're taking as a student in my class. You can also take that and use it in your high school class. So you have a lot of rich resources available to you to teach those classes as well.
For those of you following the chat, the comment, I'm literally one step ahead of my kids. You heard that a lot of our work has been supported with NSF grants. And so part of that work means surveying students and surveying faculty members. And a lot of faculty members, when they start, they're enthusiastic, they're interested, but they are not very confident, is what the surveys show the first year. The second year, after they've worked with us for a year, the average response is that they're somewhat confident. And it really, so I'm just letting you know, like, be prepared if you're new to this, that it takes about 2 to 3 years before you really become confident. So if you're especially a veteran teacher, it's almost like going back to like your first year of teaching, except for that you know how to manage a classroom. What we give tremendous credit to is like the fellow I was talking about down in Goshen, Dylan. He had no real experience, like a short time student teaching, but he had no experience running a classroom. I guess he did have a head start. He did take some computer science courses as an undergraduate, so he was a little bit more comfortable with the content. But what we have found is that experienced teachers who are enthusiastic and in general reasonably good problem solvers, you can definitely be successful in this program.
I'm sorry. In the Discovering Computer Science course, our high school level course, we really encourage teachers to take the course at the pace that's appropriate for them and their students, and to customize the course for what works for them. So a lot of our first year teachers do a subset of the material, and then the next year they'll add more, and then the next year they'll realize the final curriculum. And we also provide, all that curriculum is provided in editable format. So you can, you have the flexibility to change that curriculum for however it's going to work best for you in your classroom. And we really encourage and support that.
Well, I'd like to say this was great. It was great meeting you, except for that it's a kind of odd here in Hopin that we can't see you or hear you. But thank you, especially Jackie, for all of the comments in the chat. That was good. I'm sure that other people had those comments. I think we had about a dozen people, probably about 10 people with us throughout. Some people had to come and go because of classes. Hey, Jen, are you still here?
Yes.
She is. All right.
Yeah, I hope we got all this Schoharie stuff right.
Jen, I hope I represented Schoharie accurately in the short description that I had.
We should have brought her on stage.
I know, we could have brought you in somehow. If it was Zoom, we would have known how to do it.
It was good. It was good.
Good.
Awesome. Can you put our contact information on the screen just one more time, Robin, while we're waiting? It's on the previous slide, I think.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you don't get that down, you can go to Siena College, look for the computer science faculty. It's pretty easy to find us on the college's website. And we're all there with email addresses and phone numbers, I think. So contact us anytime.
Yeah.
Thanks, well, I think we're at our end, right, Robin? Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Jackie, we're looking forward to meeting with you on Zoom next week.
You're going to fit in.
And I think Jackie's, down in Waverly, which is right on the Pennsylvania border.
Oh.